When was your "you mean I'm not the only one" moment on Reddit? Finding out that precordial clutch syndrome, aka the random stabbing pain you sometimes get in your ribs for a few seconds, is an actual thing, and not just my body being weird. It's incurable, but totally harmless. BTW. Oh, I wonder if I have this. I get chest pains like this that hurt more when I breathe. I have to breathe through it, taking bigger and bigger breaths until the pain goes away. I also get a feeling like my rib cage gets stuck on top and catches on something inside me and I have to kind of stretch to get it off. A few days ago, someone asked if others felt embarrassed when characters start singing in movies. There were hundreds of us. Having made up and in-depth fake conversations with another person in your head of things that either never happened, are completely altered, or are played out in a scenario that hasn't even occurred. OMG. I get so into my own head doing this that I end up playing out the convo in whispers and not realizing. Looks pretty much like I'm talking to myself and has earned me some very strange glances. That other people also feel compelled to keep everything secret, no matter how trivial, and overcompensate by sharing everything online. I blame my nosy parents when I was growing up. If you've seen Brooklyn 99, I'm basically Rosa when I'm around people, and Boyle on the internet. Someone mentioned about letting water run down your arms and spray off your fingertips whilst in the shower, pretending you are some kind of wizard. It's so specific and I no longer feel alone. As a fan of Avatar: The Last Airbender, I can confirm that I've done this many times. Tetris syndrome. It's where you dedicate so much time to a game that you start to see it everywhere. For me, it was playing too much of a game, then being unable to dream about anything but playing the game, or to stop thinking about it while I doze off. So many games of Civ entirely in my head. So many games that I was always losing for some dang reason. After playing Fallout for an obscenely long time, I was outside walking and saw a bobby pin laying on the ground. I picked that damned thing up, put it in my purse, and then realized how incredibly lame I'd become. During car trips, visualizing a nimble person skipping obstacles and jumping through poles. It seems so oddly specific that anyone learning it's actually common must have dropped surprised. My thing was imagining a lightsaber cutting through signs, telephone poles, etc. Someone posted a LPT that when you turn off the shower, you first flick all the water off your body using your hand like a squeegee. You won't get that chill stepping out and your towel will stay dry so it can be used a few more days before getting stanky. I've been doing this for years and thought I was a freak. My ex used to just immediately get dressed. She'd wrap herself with a towel just for the warmth, but she wouldn't intentionally remove any water from her body or shoulder length hair. Then she'd get completely dressed from that state. Underwear, bra, jeans, shirt. When I found out that no burp was a thing, I didn't burp for the first 25 years of my life, and I thought I was the only one in the world with the affliction. When I found out that other people can't watch Scott's Tots. When I found out that other people stop the microwave before the ding. My sister didn't burp for years. Now her burps are like Odin's battle cry. They are so loud and solemn that one time she burped in her bedroom and it was so loud that she scared my near-deaf grandpa sitting in the kitchen. When other people said they never dated because they were teased by their parents as a child over having crushes, etc., and it scared them from ever showing interest in the opposite sex. And it wasn't even crushes. If I just mentioned a girl, my parents would say, oh, is she your girlfriend? And that would become a running joke for years. I was in like 3rd grade, too. When I admitted that I couldn't remember what number each month was and that I had to count on my fingers to figure out that 7/12 was the 12th of July, got tons of upvotes and I was shocked that I wasn't the only one who struggled with it. Still viscerally afraid of monsters and dark corners and at the windows well into adulthood. Thought it was weirdly immature. I will actively avoid looking out windows at night. I always know there's gonna be something staring back at me. I legit thought I was the only one that missed the old text-based days. As awful as the forums were, I miss the days of going to GameFAQs instead of YouTube for video game help. Also Zelda walkthroughs that were all text, including the badass assay art at the top. Good crap. Disclaimer, I haven't looked up a Zelda walkthrough in probably a decade, so that may not have changed. When I realized other people had that weird fear of them being retarded and everyone else is just pretending that you're normal and pretending to be your friend. Honestly, I thought this too until I got a job as a forklift operator. I doubt they would have let me do that if I had a handicap. Learning that other adults take glee in stepping on thin layers of ice over air or puddles. I'm not a freak for that. Someone posted about how they often had nightmares where they realize they have a class that they forgot about and never attended. I thought I was the only until I found the comment, which had 4,000 upvotes and several hundred replies from other people who had it. Kind of silly. Sometimes my eyes water when I yawn, which I always found embarrassing when I was younger and would be afraid people would think I was crying. I watched a video in 8th grade about, I don't know what, but one of the guys in the video mentioned that he hadn't cried in ages except for his eyes watering a bit when he yawned. Everyone else in the class had a confused look on their face, but I was thinking, I understand you, my friend. I understand you even if no one else does. Felt a lot better about it after that. Being able to pop my ears, it's not really brought up in everyday conversation and I thought it was something to do with an accident I had as a kid. Turns out it's just a portion of the population who can rumble their ears. I'd be doubtful of people not being able to pop their ears ever, on command, though, requires practice. I had to learn how to do it at an early age because I lived in a mountain valley and had to go down the hill to do anything in the city. It's also very important in scuba diving. If you don't pop your ear going down, you'll start with a head-splitting pain and end with a ruptured eardrum. Going on the social anxiety subreddit, honestly relating to people's experiences on there and being able to actually put a name to how I felt was the biggest part of fixing it. I've had this same experience but with avoidant personality disorder. I heard about it for the first time on Imgur and I felt a sense of relief that I finally found what my issue was. I thought I had social anxiety but I just didn't relate to the symptoms that well. But once I looked up, it just clicked. I knew without a doubt this is what I had. When I found out I'm not the only one with a fricked up nail on my hand because of how I hold the pencil when I write. I still have a slight indentation in my finger from holding the pencil for years. Occasionally my entire body shivers for a moment or two. If it happens around other people, they look at me like I'm having a seizure or something. But it happens to me a couple times a week. My 18-month-old daughter is the only other person I've seen do it. There was one of those "what's something weird you find attractive in the opposite sex" posts that comes around pretty often on Ask Reddit. A guy answered something along the lines of, when girls sit weird, like on the bathroom counter with their feet in the sink to do their makeup. I thought I was the only girl who sits on the bathroom counter with their feet in the sink while doing makeup. My sister once told me about putting your thumb inside your vagina to push the poop out when you are constipated. I had forgotten about the whole thing until I saw it on Reddit. It's a thing. It's a real thing. I tried this and it doesn't work. Of course I don't have a vagina. High place phenomenon. Ever since I was little, whenever I'm anywhere high up on a building, even behind glass windows, and look down, I think, what if I jumped and then get the heck away from there? I'm not suicidal, and finding normal people who experience the same thing was definitely a relief. I've had night terrors and sleep paralysis since early childhood. For 25 plus years, I believed the shadowy black figures I saw from time to time were demons or something paranormal. One of the first Reddit threads I found after migrating from Dig was about the shadow people, and several users posted great info about how seeing them was a very common symptom of sleep paralysis. I'm a very logical person, so the fact I had to believe these were paranormal bothered me. The relief from realizing I wasn't crazy or being followed by demons was incredible. I was visiting my dad's side of the family over spring break that I rarely ever see, and I walked in on my grandpa eating cut up pieces of bread and milk like cereal. I didn't know he did this, but I've always stuck bread into a glass of milk to it soak for a while before eating it since I was little, and I always get weird looks and comments for it. He saw me staring at it and says, "Yeah, I know it's strange, but I like it." I just nodded and all I could think was, this man has vision. My whole family does that, but only with cornbread. I think my sir would gag if he saw me doing that. I learned that I am not the only one with my relatively rare OCD obsession, being scared I am aromantic and don't have the capacity to ever fall in love, and not the only one whose birth control makes their OCD 100x worse. Googling these things did not help and terrified me that it meant I did not have OCD and my fears were actually reality. Posted about them on Reddit and got a number of responses saying they had the same issues. Hearing the term grower not a shower, honestly, that took years and years of self-conscientiousness off of me. I mean, I ain't the biggest hammer in the tool shed, but it can certainly ram a few good nails. Apparently I'm not the only one who daydreams to music. I was there for the creation of the subreddit and now we have over 1,000 subs and I might become a mod soon. Sneezing whilst seeing bright lights. I think it's like 7% of people are affected by it, myself included. If I really need to sneeze I tend to shine my phone torch in my face to relieve the feeling. Wow, I really thought that affected everyone. The sun always makes me sneeze. I'm super attracted to women who wear men's clothes, tuxedos, suits and ties and so forth. I never knew anyone else who had such an attraction until I went on Reddit, and it turns out it's a bit more common than I had thought. Reddit is attracted to everything. Literally, I would bet there's a community for people attracted to asexual people. Being a female, going to the salon and feeling like you never realized how truly fugly your reflection is. It's something about the lighting and having your hair pulled back tight that makes you think, wow, I actually look like a potato. Thinking that people from the 60s saw in black and white, even though I know they don't. For some reason I think that the graphics of the past were worse. Sneezing when you first get out of the house and the sun hits you. No allergies or anything. I was surprised that it was an actual condition with plenty of PPL having that issue. Sorry if someone already posted this, as I haven't read through the full thread, but does anyone else push their fingers away from their nails? Like use the tops of their thumbs to push them away because the feeling agitates them? When I was in middle school, and a girl left because she was being badly bullied about coming out as bisexual, that was the day I learned what bisexual meant, and that I wasn't the only one who was attracted to both men and women. When I was made aware of in a monologue, mental health is so stigmatized and hearing voices is made to be the craziest thing possible, so up until a year or two ago, I thought I was mentally ill for talking to myself inside my head. I only have one voice and it sounds like me. I was so confused when my friend told me everyone had that. I had just been assuming I was batshit insane. I found out I have visual snow. When I'd hang out with my friends at night and we'd smoke illicit substances, I'd sometimes bring up the fact that the world looks kinda fuzzy, especially in the dark, and I asked if they could see it too. They seemed really shocked and thought it was super weird. Then I found our visuals now and found other people see the world kind funny like I do. Didn't realize this wasn't normal, although I always had a suspicion it might not be, because I felt like other people ought to talk about it sometimes or at least mention it offhand. I also didn't realize it wasn't normal to see after images of stuff all the time, like after being exposed to a camera flash, but for simple stuff like lines of text on a computer screen. Sometimes when I'm relaxing, muscles will randomly start spasming. I thought I was losing control of my body but found out later that it does that to make sure your limbs are still there. Then there's that sad moment when you realize they are not there. I read in a LPT that if you want to tuck yourself into bed, you can raise your legs in the air, make the blanket fall underneath your legs, and roll side to side to make the blanket go underneath you as well. When I read this, I was like, wait, what? People don't do this. I absolutely hate when my legs are too close to the end of the blanket and I can feel cold air coming in, so I love tucking the blanket around me. Finding out that other people noticed that Pringles changed their flavor a few years back. Before then everyone I know had me believing it was all in my head. Reddit knew the truth. Exercise-induced rhinitis. I thought I had an allergy of some kind. Tried nasal sprays, antihistamines and even changed my diet. No luck. I run with a buff around my neck, spandex circle scarf thing, and blow my nose on the go. If I am in good shape and my cardio is going strong, it doesn't run as much, but it always runs. I joke that I'm allergic to exercise. Apparently it's a stress reaction of some kind to breathing harder than normal. 2 things. 1. A lot of people have reoccurring episodes of sleep paralysis. And 2. I am not the only superhuman capable of defocusing my eyes. I told my friend I used to do this weird thing where I would stay awake at night thinking of my past mistakes, and he told me that's a thing that literally everyone does. My mind was shattered. When someone described depersonalization and dissociative disorders, I felt like my whole life made some kind of sense again. I tie my shoes differently than most people I knew of my age. It was neat to meet other people who did it the way I did. I learned what YouTube apparently now refers to the bunny ear song method, where you make 2 loops and tie them together. But when I was in school, they taught a different method that I just could not get my head around that used a single loop you wrapped parts around. So my teacher taught me the bunny ear method, which I understood right away. That method has stuck with me ever since, but it wasn't until much later in life that I met people who knew the same method. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.